Good evening to everyone. You're welcome to the first ever online Mac Symposium. I'm called Makerere Uganda, and I'm going to be taking you through this symposium we're going to have here. So I can see people are trying to log in. I see a number of people are trying still to enter the meeting. Let me first give it like 1 minute, then we officially start. Some people are still trying to join. So let's give it like 2 minutes, then we start officially. But you're all welcome. Okay. Once again, a good evening to everyone. As I already said, you're welcome to the first online Mark Symposium, where we're going to be discussing the different issues as regards to construction management. So I welcome our guest speakers. I can see Mr. Iga Hassan. I can see Mr. Jidudu Ivan and Miss Jerusha. You're all welcome here, our speakers for the day. So briefly, let me take you through why we decided to have this event. Now, Makerere Institution of Construction Management students, we decided to have this event because of some students who have been about our course because it was restructured. Some people even do the course because they don't know what it is about. So we decided to have this meeting enlighten us more, so that you can tell us more about a CM. MAC is a students association which comprises of students from year 1 to year 3. And I have an executive, a hardworking executive comprising of 15 people who have ensured that we indeed have this meeting taking place. Now, our first guest speaker is going to be Mr. Iga Hassan. All our guest speakers today, they are people who did CM and graduated and now in the field. So we have called the right people. So our first guest speaker is going to be Mr. Iga Hassan. He graduated in 2011. He is the field supervisor for capital projects at American Tower. He will tell us more about himself. That is our first guest speaker. Our second guest speaker is Mr. Jidudu Ivan. He did CM and graduated in the year of 2017 as an inspector civil works at Troughton International Consultants Limited. He will tell us more about himself. Then our third speaker is the only lady in the building. That is Miss Abalinda Jerusha. She graduated in 2013 and she's now working as a site engineer for local construction. So our guest speakers, you're all welcome here. Please feel at home, feel free to share with us. We are eagerly waiting to share with you. So without wasting time, I would like to call upon our first guest speaker. I want you to come and say hello to us, tell us a little bit about yourself in just 1 minute, and then we see the next step. So, Mr. Iga Hassan, are you there?
Yes,
Mr. Iga Hassan.
Yes, I'm there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome this evening. So, please tell us a little bit about yourself, and we shall start. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, President Mark, and your entire committee. We're really proud of you guys for what you're trying to push on in your capacity and at your level. I'll be brief. I tried to put together a simple presentation which includes most of the key highlights of who I am. By name is Iga Hamza Hassan, CM class 2008-2011. Experience, field experience 15 years. Current role, field supervisor, capital projects. Practice, construction management practitioner, passive infrastructure, sector, telecommunications, you can call it telecos. Specialization, passive infrastructure, department, technical department, capital projects, employer, American Tower Corporation, Uganda branch, and then previous employers said that junior lecturer, Walid Telecom, Airtel, and other things I'm involved in, SMAU, PMI member, Project Management Institute member. I'm also a farmer, tour and travel entrepreneur. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, that is so nice to hear from you, Mr. Iga Hassan. So that will be our first speaker for today. Now, our second speaker is going to be Mr. Jidudu Ivan. Mr. Jidudu Ivan, are you there?
Yes, please.
You're welcome here for this Mark Symposium. I would like you in just 1 minute, briefly, tell us about yourself so that you can know who is going to be sharing with us information, knowledge and information. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Gidud Ivan, the man from the East. Graduated in 2017, having 4 years and a half of experience in the construction field. And my specialty is one in the design and build of residential buildings, hydraulic engineering, commercial sector, and then the roadworks, and then the health infrastructure. And then I do come in terms of quality management in the respective fields, as I've told you. And I also have experience in contract management and administration in regards to the experience I've been able to acquire. And I'm really, really so glad to be share with you. And in addition to that, I do love ministry, serving God, and I'm also a businessman dealing in clothes. So I'm always at your door, able to make the gentleman look good. Thank you.
Thank you. That is nice hearing from you, Mr. Judud Ivan. That is impressive. Let's move on to our third speaker. That is the only lady that we have here. Madam Jerusha, are you there?
Yes, please, I am.
You're welcome to the Mark Symposium. So I would like briefly in 1 minute, tell us about yourself. We need to know the person who's going to be sharing with us knowledge today. Thank you.
Thank you, President. I appreciate the invitation to speak with you tonight. My name is Jerusha Abarinda. I did CM, I joined Makerere in 2009. So I did CM 2009 to 2012. I was part of the graduating class of 2013. I have had 2 employers since then. I worked with Shelter Plan and Vamaco as a clerk of works for 2.5 years. Then I joined Rocco Construction Limited. I joined as a site supervisor, and after about 2.5 years, I was promoted to site engineer, which is my current role now. I work at the rehabilitation and upgrading of Munago Hospital. So my specialty has majorly been building construction and health infrastructure. Outside work, I am a mother and a wife. Briefly, that's all. That's me.
Thank you so much. This is amazing to be having such great people in this symposium that you are having here. So without wasting a lot of time, I would like to welcome, I'm seeing in this meeting we're having people who did CM, other people who did CM and graduated some time back, and they are joining us. This is amazing. I would like to welcome all of them who have joined us. We also have people from year 1, of course, to year 3, those ones are there. But I can also see people in attendance, people who graduated, and that is good. Thank you so much. So let's now go to our first speaker. Mr. Yiga Hassan is going to be sharing with us. This is the first person that we're going to be having sharing with us today. I hope you can see the screen. So Mr. Yiga Hassan, I would like you to tell us, when you finished CM and graduated, I want you to tell us how was your journey after graduation? What did you meet? Did you get unemployed? Did you look for jobs? And again, I also want you to tell us how did you find the field as a construction manager? Because that is our topic today. How did the field treat you? Do we have hope there? And also, lastly, I would like you to tell us what things do you think we should do before we graduate? What things do you think we should learn before we graduate that will help us in the field? But that will be summarized in your PowerPoint here. So, Mr. Iga Hassan, the floor is yours. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, President. Like I indicated earlier in the introduction, it's an honor to be here. And it was quite on a short time that I was able to be contacted by the President and requested that we have a need to speak to our colleagues and assure them and motivate them what lies ahead for a construction manager. First and foremost, I'll say I'm a very happy person to be a construction management practitioner. Trust me, this is one of the most beautiful things that God has ever given me in my life. Of course, God has blessed me with a couple of things: beautiful kids, beautiful wife, good job, and still alive, especially in this situation we are in of the pandemic. With that, I will not forget to ask all of you to keep a moment of silence for Engineer Dr. Godfrey. He taught us construction technology in our year. He was among the best lecturers. We lost him a few days back. Most of you have been running on the group, contributing on the condolences. That's a very good sign of enthusiasm and commitment to those we love. We pray that he rests in peace, and all of you, I'm sure this pandemic has not left everyone the way they are. There are a lot happening. The course was removed. You are in pandemic. Our founder, Dr. Kelali, also passed on. It has been quite a year, I would say. 2 years been very terrific. And I would understand when the President contacted me and said, hey, look here, we need to speak to each other and see how best we can push on. Because at the end of the day, those who are still alive, they will need the construction manager. Without wasting time, like I said, it was on short notes. Today is my elder son's birthday. I really like the boys. He was born on the day actually I got my first official job, the day I completed CM. So it's an honor to actually host this talk with the CM, because CM has really contributed a lot. I could say 70% of who I am today, much as I can assure you I've used less CM knowledge, meaning it's so much that you only need a little bit of it to be who you want to be. I tried to put together a simple summary of what I would like to talk about today. You know, I would wish we can talk more often. I would wish we can engage with most of you more often. I have a couple of CM I try to work with, I try to nurture, and I try to show how we can approach this field. I'm proud of the couple of guys we have continued to practice with, a couple of guys in the field. And I am really happy when I see the healthy discussion going on about the CM and everyone trying his best to make sure that they get to the level they want. As you can see, I don't have much to speak through about the first slide, just about my role. I'm a field supervisor in capital projects, that is telecom infrastructure. Those who are not very aware of what we do, those are passive infrastructure. You know, when you look around near your homesteads, you see telecom masts. We are responsible for acquisition of areas where these masts are, putting together the access road, construction of the masts, procurement process, and also ensuring that the masts are built within specifications and requirements. And I also part of the team to maintain these masts and ensure that our clients, Airtel, MTN, Africell, Leica, and all cell carriers are actually have availability for the power and the space they need on these masts. So generally, we span from start to finish, and then we enter into the asset management aspects, as we shall see in the coming slides. This career, it's a promising career. It has a lot of growing job opportunities. If you look at the BL's employment and construction managers, they are projected to have about to grow by 11% between 2016 and 2026, faster than the average for all occupations. That's according to BLS. So you see the need that construction management is not here as a joke, okay? Next slide, as we speak through, I would encourage everyone to actually understand the definition of a construction manager. What do you do? Because that's where most of us get lost. And then when we get into the field, it's among the key questions which the employers are going to ask. The president asked about how was it possible for me to leave CM and then I get a job. I actually got the job when I was in my final year of CM. The year which was, I was in year 3 and the year 1, I was a teaching assistant, meaning through the hard work and presentation that you can do certain things at the department. One of the lecturers trusted that I can help her with construction management 1. And I told them that was my first assignment. And immediately after that, it's actually at Tech where I saw the position of civil engineering technician being advertised by Walidi Telecom. And that's how I entered the passive infrastructure. A couple of guys told me, Hassan, look, you have the experience. You have been very vocal into these things. You can do many things. You have done some training with various contractors, industrial training. You could take on any challenges. The practical experiences are very critical in this whole thing. So I went for the interview when I was still at Tech teaching. And I remember one thing, the interviewer was a structural engineer, passive manager infrastructure, Mr. Patrick Elacho. By then, for Walidi Telecom, it was a Dubai consortium owned the company. He asked me, what mistakes have you ever done? And how did they impact your projects? I started telling him stories about people stole cement on the site and stuff like that, which is really young experience. And he told me, you don't have experience to manage projects. Your title is a construction manager, but you don't have any experience that can manage people, that can manage projects, that can manage time, that can manage quality. Because as a project manager, you must be in a position to manage those triple constraints of any project: time, quality, and cost. So, but he said, actually, and told me for him, his worst experience in engineering was he was putting up a site around the Masaka in Nyendo, and then he cut a cable. You can imagine cutting a HV cable. You put down so many clients, and his company was fined. Can you guys hear me? The network doesn't seem to be very good.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, for the guys, sorry for the guys who are not hearing well. We are rolling out another set of infrastructure. Hopefully the next discussion will be better. But I was still emphasizing the point. This infrastructure manager told me that he costed his company 60,000 USD when he cut a cable during an excavation on the site. And he was telling me that's the kind of mistake he wanted to hear from me. So this tells you that it's okay, you can make mistakes. But the question is, can you learn from them? So I went ahead. We had a group of 12 people they were hiring then. And actually, we were just 2 guys they picked from Tech. Myself who was a CM and another guy who was electrical engineer. So they took us as engineering technicians.
We worked in the active infrastructure and the passive infrastructure. Walid had just started and they were trying to swap out Ericsson, which is an active equipment from Europe, to install Chinese Huawei, which is an active equipment from China. And the movement was purely commercial. You cut the maintenance cost, you cut the, European standards are a little bit expensive and high. And here we are, we rolled out the first 6 months, which was a contract-based job. After the contract, they reviewed, and among the 12 guys, I proved myself to be relevant because of the skills I had. I was able to practice in telecom business. I was able to do a lot of civil works. I was able to do a lot of electrical works and mechanical. And all these actually came in by the fact that I used to tell guys that I studied CM. And when I see CM, I see it as minister portfolio. Most CM don't want to hear this. But by minister portfolio, I mean, if I turn it into Uganda, that is a very good role, that you can do anything and you have tackled anything. I remember in Warid, I could go for law, they call it locust visits. We visit a defendant and discuss, they have a generator making noise, they have cracks in their structure due to our masts. And I could represent the technical team. And I look at how the lawyers are interpreting the laws and how I'm supporting them. And you could really see that the knowledge I'm using is the construction law we studied, is the company law we studied, is the financial law we studied, investment appraisal, and all these. So you will find that in a CM, you have the literature that is going to make you suitable in that new company where you're going to. And provided you get that chance to practice, then you're able to actually go ahead and enjoy all these benefits. So I stayed in Wari. Unfortunately, after a year, I got my first mistake. And my first mistake was I put a site in a long location. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I put a site in a long location. Do you know what that means? Because they give us coordinates before we go to survey these sites, before we can take these infrastructures wherever they are. They give us coordinates and they say these coordinates probably lands into Jerusha's land, okay? And if it lands into Jerusha's land, that's where you're supposed to put the site. Now, for me, I followed the site name. And yet, surprisingly, this site was supposed to serve me because I was living in somewhere near Chireka, and that site was on the road. We are complaining as technicians that we don't have network. So they said, let's put a site, because in this business, they can call you anytime. You can wake up, even if you're having sex with your wife, they can call you and they tell you site A has gone down. So you will leave your conjugal rights and then you're going to put back at the site, because we have sales level agreements, which requires us to ensure that these sites are up on a 24/7 basis. You understand? So when I put down this site, what happened to me was my boss, of course, they checked, they put coordinates, the site went on air, it was built. Everyone is calling me, Hassan, where is this site? I direct them. And when I directed them and they went to this site and it was a long site, I was the one taken to be the mistake, because it is my responsibility to go there, survey and put this site in this place. By the fact that I put it in a long place, they installed the mast, they put the infrastructure and the active infrastructure, I was in it. And my boss called me, took me to the CEO and said, you have costed the company $40,000. Remember, his mistake costed his company $60,000. Me, I've costed the company $40,000. But because I was a CM and I had used my skills of CM very well, I remember one of the project managers, who was an electrical engineer, stood in the meeting and said, if you sack Hassan, you have sacked all the 12 guys, because he has driven them, he has supported them, he has been very instrumental on the project, he has various skills in managing this infrastructure. You need him, let's warn him, and let's caution him. So I was warned, I was given a warning letter, I was given an extension of the contract, and I got a salary increment. So I got 3 things in one: my first mistake, a salary increment, and a contract extension. But all came to one value: having the skills of construction management, because you can relate with everyone. So that's how I entered it. Unfortunately, Walid was sold because of profit levels, and then we are pushed to Airtel. But before being sold to Airtel, there came in a new dimension where the infrastructure active, when I talk about active, I mean the network, the MTN, the Airtel business, where you are able to speak on your phone and use the internet, was left on the operator side, the Airtel and the MTN, and then the passive, which is the mast, the generators and everything, were pushed actually to the likes of American Tower. So American Tower came in. There is also another company by then was called Eaton Towers came in, and they were managing passive infrastructure, and they left the telecoms to handle the active infrastructure. Let everyone concentrate on their core business. And that's where my biggest opportunity came, because I knew that I'm not so electrical guy, telecom guy. So going to the passive infrastructure side, to me, was a big opportunity for a growing construction manager. So I joined ATC in 2013 July. Actually, I made my 8th year there just a few days back. And I joined their field team as a quality supervisor, quality assurance, and quality control. We approve sites, we inspect them, it includes tower, mechanical, electrical, civil, and a lot of hybrid systems. So it has been a journey which actively engage me, which actively push me into various aspects of work. And at some point in ATC, I became a project manager for 1 year. There is a lot of training you can do there. I went back and did a postgraduate in project management. I joined the PMI Project Management Institute as a certified project management professional. I did the exam, I failed. I have to redo it if I'm still interested in that line. I'm apparently doing an MBA in majoring in business management with University of Suffolk in the UK. So there are a couple of things going on in my life, but all lies on the fact that I've been able to use my knowledge as a CM, and I continue to use it, even managing my home. That's a brief of what I do and where everyone can look at and say, yeah, these are the stories we have. And I've seen a couple of guys I studied with, the likes of Timothy is in transmission, Abraham, our former president, he's in Sogea. There are a couple of, it's amazing when you deliver this project. We do roughly 300 new sites per year. And when you are part of this team, the project portfolios, the program, we are a company, I work for a company which is global. You are with all these teams from Nigeria, from Ghana, from South Africa, from America, from India, and you are able to translate the business needs and make sure that the deliverables are achieved on time within the requirements. It's amazing. You really feel that CM is something very, 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 very good. And when you look at other work with, you really see. President, maybe you can mute them. They might not know. So you realize that even the guys who work with as engineering professionals, they look at you and they wonder, because you are everywhere. When it comes to asset management, you are able to actually fully be supportive. When it comes to regulatory bodies, you are able to do it. When it comes to negotiation in the field, when you are making these surveys, and my latest skill, which I've really advanced very much, is about the access roads. You cannot imagine that we are obliged to do these surveys, the designs, and the implementation of such a road. You have 200 sites, almost 50% of them need access road. And the CM is on a computer doing all those basic designs, and at the same time, go on cost them, and at the same time support procurement to have the suppliers who are going to do them. These are very key skills which you studied in your design measurement and design appraisal, which you studied in your costing, which you studied in your property studies, and all that. So the skills are there. The challenge is, how do you use them? Going ahead and a little bit faster, when you look at what key sectors can you consider as a CM? You look at active infrastructure. We have CMs in MTN. Most of you, I don't know whether you know Edgar Kusasira. He works with MTN in the financial asset department. So you look at such opportunities and you understand what a CM can do. Look at passive infrastructure. You have Hassan here. I'm actively engaged in the telecom passive infrastructure. Abib Gayonga is now the health and safety manager at Lidicom. Didas, I think there are so many guys. I can mention to you are actively joining this, and Chizito. They are joining, and you could really see when I speak to people, some of them, of course, I've introduced them to this kind of work. But you could really see that when you put them there, they are far better. They are doing so many things. They are good at reporting, and they are very excellent at what they are doing. Oil and gas. Hello?
Yes, we are getting you.
Yes, oil and gas. There are so many guys in this sector. We are just a young economy with an upcoming oil and gas sector. This is a very key sector for each of you to strategize. Get all the necessary skills. Get that certificate if you can, related certificate. When I remember I spoke to Abib, when he finished, he told me he was going to do a certificate in health and safety. Right now, health and safety being the front line for him to enter an international company. Now, because it has brought him far with all his skills in construction management, because when you speak construction management, like we will see at the end of this discussion, people will have spiritual jealousy on you. How can you lead the construction team when you have been in the university for 3 years? How many mathematics, how much mathematics have you studied there? How much design do you know? Stuff like that. So you have to realize that these additional certificates are going to make you better and more competitive than even those other professionals who have been engaged in this work. That's very key. Oil and gas, I would encourage you to look there. Real estate and building construction. Look at the condominiums which are coming up. Look at the estate life now coming. People are living in estates. You come to Kira municipality, go on Teve Road, go everywhere. There are so many housing products coming up. There are so many condominiums being built. If you associate yourself with these developers, you have a lot of knowledge as a CM to actually engage directly with this kind of business. Building constructions, arcades, we have just got cities. These cities will need infrastructure in terms of buildings. There are new models coming up. So there is a lot of opportunities. You have to position yourself and be employable. I normally say to my colleagues, employability is the most important key thing we can have in this business. Road infrastructure, bridges. We have a lot of things going on and we are trying to do everywhere. I would encourage you guys to look at these things. There are so many CMs I've met on roads. You scattered everywhere. You may not be the engineer, you may not be what, but for you be there. Don't worry about anything. Even if they're not paying you for the start. We had a chat, I remember last time, and I remember in my first practice in this industry, I was paid 2,000 shillings. And to be comfortable and feel myself, I used to eat food from ShopRite. But which project was I on? I was part of the traffic flow improvement project. with Japanese Konaiki. Now they are doing a flyover. I got a lot of road experience from there. I went ahead, we worked with a couple of CMs in Arab contractors during the construction of mega standard supermarket. That's where I learned how to treat sub-water, underground water, how you treat it. There is a lot of water below that building. Recently, I was sharing some of it with, I think, leaders, a CM, and he was like, really? I can't believe there is a lot of water there. All these things, as a CM, you open to them and you are able to practice water and sanitation infrastructure. Jerusha has just indicated to us, she's a site engineer at rehabilitation of Morago Hospital. That's a healthy public health sanitation project. I personally did training in Lake Victoria Basin sanitation project where we could construct toilets along the basin for the people without them. Construction of abattoirs. So there is a lot of work. Abraham is in Sogea. He has been the quality controller on the project of the Katosi water project. Most of you have seen it. Timothy, there are so many guys because this course started around 2004, if I'm not mistaken. There are a couple of guys. I know our former president Smao. He was a caretaker for us. He was involved in the Ginger Bridge. There are so many CMs who have started companies and they are pushing on ahead. Of course, I won't say there are not others who are struggling. The same way the civil engineers and the architects who studied way back are also struggling. That can be a discussion for another day. Marine works and the army. Of recent, I saw on the group, most of you were worried about the army taking over. In my class, when I was teaching construction management 1, I had 3 army guys. Right now, when I meet them, actually they're among the top guys in the army. They did construction management. They are heading projects in Nakasongola. You know, they are heading construction units in so many projects. The president trusts the army more than anyone. You look at these opportunities. Even if you need training, more training, you join the army, good for you. Marine works, we have not had a lot of works on the shipments. When you go to, my wife comes from Asia. When I'm there, we move on ships so much. There is a lot of cargo moving on ships. Imagine the business between Kenya and Tanzania on Lake Victoria, if we bring back the ship and marine transport. So there are so many opportunities. We are still a young country and we're looking for these opportunities. A CM is that minister of portfolio who needs to put a lot of things together. Leisure and hospitality. Personally, I'm into tour and travel. And my dream is to put a safari lodge on some of the hills where I have land. These are projects which require CMs, project management. The first line of work for a CM is project management. That's why it's very key for you to become a certified project manager. Renewable energy. I also deal in solar. Once the US presidency changed, the Paris Agreement came back, the climate change issue came back. We are experiencing all these sorts of challenge, and the CM is expected to be top priority if you focus on that. President, next slide. So I would encourage you to be focused in these areas. What are the key areas of a CM to participate in? Project management, I've already expounded on this. You can be a project coordinator, okay? You can be a quality supervisor in a project. You can be a scheduling officer in the project. You can be a performance evaluation manager in the project. I'm personally the performance evaluation manager, management coordinator in capital projects in our department where I work. Procurement, you can furnish procurement with the necessary support. You technique a bit, you have information of report writing, you know Excel, you know all these kind of things. You can take on procurement courses and certificate and align yourself along that line. Design, Gidudu can expound more on that. Construction, that's our A game. You can be that guy on the ground to manage all these other departments. You have studied this. Planning, you can be part of planning processes. Maintenance. I have a couple of guys who are in night flank. They're doing these maintenance works in these companies which are fueling our sites. There are CMs there, operations, program and portfolio management, those who want to go for higher level management, asset management. When you look at asset management, we do it where you work. But you could really see a CM has a big stake in participating in asset management. If it's an area of interest, you have done property studies as a unit, a course unit. I don't know whether it is still there. You go for it. Construction law, you can choose to go into that. Okay. Finance. Mr. President, the next slide. For that slide, I will not really go deep into it. It is largely to share with you the 4 dimensions of clarity. We call them the 4 Ds. President can share the slide. You can look at them, discover your true self, discuss the perceptions, diversify your potential, and develop your full potential. If you look through all those aspects, you are able actually to position yourself. Next slide. And when you position yourself, you are able to achieve all the ultimate goals you're looking for. What are the challenges? I'll conclude because of time, and I need other speakers also to give their opinions. And maybe some of you have a couple of questions to give. What SCM should expect in the field? Personally, I chose the challenges and I chose the negative ones to prepare you. Spiritual jealousy. People are going to call you all sorts of things. They will say you are not an engineer. Why are you being a site engineer, Jerusha? Why are you being a site engineer, Hassan? Why are you being this? Why are you designing when you didn't do civil engineering? Corruption, cancer. We have discussed this so many times. Everyone will ask for money in whatever they're going to do. Be ready for that challenge. Poor pay. Recently, we had a discussion where someone was being paid 600. Last time we had a discussion where the Ugandan boss, some of you are on the group, you see these things. But a CM shouldn't worry at these things, especially when you are starting your career. Intimidation. People will look at you. I'm a very small guy. People will look at me and say, the engineer has not yet come, but we can continue stealing cement. That is if I park somewhere and they walk to site. But then their boss comes in and say, oh, engineer, you already came. We are happy to receive you. I already know what the wrongdoers have been doing on site just because of my size. You will find all the people in our section, our industry. Construction management is new. You find people who have done civil engineering, architecture for years. They will intimidate you. You don't give in. You appreciate what they are doing, help them where you can, because most of them actually are lost. They are doing your job. Toxic environment. You'll find all sorts of political nepotism. Don't give attention to these things. Stand your ground. Look for your opportunity as a CM. Limited opportunities for learning. I always tell Habib, we have 200 sites. We have just started rolling them out in July. We need them to be ready for you guys who are still staying home, to work from home, to be able to have better network by August, September. And that's only when the business will start getting revenue from these sites, because we give a grace period to our clients. Now tell me, if you want to learn, shall this business give you time to learn? Hustle. Leaders once told me that he found himself having no money even to eat, but his boss is pushing him, you must deliver. So at the start, this hustle will be there. I drive over 2,000 kilometers on average per week. That's a lot of mileage for a 37-year-old like me, with a beautiful family I want to be with every day. Like I've said, today is my kid's birthday, but I had a lot of work to do, and I've not even given enough time to prepare for that. You must be ready for these things. Competition. Of course, you're going to compete with the rest of other professionals. You are not unique in any way, but your knowledge is unique. So you can be able to beat that. Organizational politics. This is a very key lesson. You can check online. There are so many courses which educate you on this. You have to know how they manage the politics of organization. And a lot of information. That is the challenge. You know, we are in an era of social media. Whatever information you see, whatever interpretation you get, the final output will depend on how best you can make use of that information. I look at the recommendations, they are self-explanatory. Guys, you need to stay calm, be patient, fast learning. You have to learn very fast. Be hardworking. Do extra hours, learn very fast. Take on challenges, don't fear to be challenged. Stay focused, learn new skills. Those AutoCAD skills are very important. Learn how to use the field right. Learn how to do desk surveying. Learn how to do basic design. Study practical courses like health and safety. You can go for a diploma in any short course and so many others. Also choose a mentor and be positive. Choose a mentor, get this guy, and you know, Abraham is in waterworks. I want to go there. Stick to him, ask him information, engage him, ask him a question, join professional groups, and keep positive. I'm sure you will make it and you will go very far. For other opportunities as a CM, it has been removed at Makerere. It's not the end of the day. It is still there in the UK, in New Zealand, in Canada, in US, in South Africa, in Cairo, in Saudi Arabia, everywhere. I personally was on the verge of relocating to New Zealand, and I was given a slot in the university at first hand. Why? Because of construction management. Apparently, they have a city which was washed away by earthquake, and they need a lot of construction civil engineering professionals to rebuild such city. So you have all sorts of opportunities for you to practice. You get visa for 3 years. If you have money, you can go as a study visa, and at the end of the day, become a natural citizen of those countries if you want. You can go to Dubai, you can go to Qatar, you can go in so many places and practice construction management. The key thing is for you to build your skills and be able to follow up certain people who are going to guide you and achieve your goal. The elimination of CM from Makerere should not steer you away from the fact that you are studying a very important career. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Iga, for sharing with us. This has been very impressive. I wish I could clap. But thank you so much. I think everyone has at least got to learn something. Yes, we could clap for him. This was really something. So one thing I've learned from him is that as CM, we can do anything. And wow, that is some good piece of information. We can do anything. So I've learned a lot of things. I've learned also when we talked about, of course, what to expect. People are jealous of us. Yeah. So Mr. Hassan, thank you so much. You really shared a lot, and I think I'm not going to be the same from today. I would like to welcome some people here. There are some people I'm seeing. Asime Mwesige, he graduated. I would like to welcome him here. I'm seeing Gayonga Habib, he's also a graduate. I would like to welcome him. I'm also seeing other people who finished CM and they have joined us. I'm seeing Itho. Itho, you're welcome here. Waswa Vicent, you're welcome. Haida, you're all welcome here to join us. I know people graduated, but when I see here, I will feel motivated. So before we go on to our next speaker, I would like to clarify on something. In case you see the meeting going off, it's not because the meeting has ended. We shall resolve this issue next time. But for today, if the meeting goes off, just log in again. Yeah, so it's not like as if the meeting has ended. So let's welcome our next speaker, that is Mr. Jidudu Ivan, to come and also share with us part of his information. Mr. Jidudu Ivan, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I hope everyone can get me well?
So, Mr. Jidudu Ivan.
Yes.
Mr. Jidudu Ivan.
Yes, please. Yes,
Kindly
can
use
everyone
one.
get me? Come again?
Kindly use, this meeting has 1 minute before it goes off again. So kindly use that 1 minute. When it goes off, we can log in again. It's not like anything has happened. You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you. As you all know, I graduated in 2017. That was in February. But initially, I finished university. That was in May 2016. That was on the 30th. That's when I was able to live and to vacate the premises of Makerere. So I really had the zeal and the anxiety of finishing and really being able to go and attack, as you can say, or being able to go and face the world in the construction industry. And immediately after my final papers, I had a very good colleague of mine.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yes, as I was saying, after the 30th of May, I had to embark on my journey to go in the field for job hunting. And as I said, I really had a good friend of mine called Bruno. It's like I'm hearing the echoes from the background. Could you kindly mute and you can be able to communicate in peace? Okay, thank you. Yes, as I said, I had a good friend called Bruno. He's really my good friend, and we sat and talked about something and said, what's the next plot? And luckily enough, we remembered that we had done internship with Jawada Consult. And one of the things that we really appreciated that we had moved with Jawada and created a good relationship with them. And we talked and we agreed that let us go back and be able to have a trial at the other consult, because we were interns there. That was, I think that was around 2015, if I'm to remember. And then during 2015, when I think that was around December, before we joined for our last final year, we said, okay, let us go and do further training. And really, that's the way we created the bigger bond with the Jawada Consult, that they really saw young CMs who were really interested in learning. And as people were enjoying Christmas and enjoying the holidays, me and Bruno, we were at Jawada Consult at their offices in Tego, trying to learn, coming up with bills of quantities, interpreting of drawings, doing bidding, trying to get a feel of the procurement process. So in that short period of 2 months, at least it gave us a bigger boost, and that's the confidence in us that we say now, at least since we are going back for our final year, at least we have been able at least to have hands-on onto the construction industry. So one or 2 points I can highlight from that is, one, always have someone close to you that you can always be able to interact with and be able to move along. And second of all is always think outside the box and try to go out of that comfortable zone, because that's one of the really the hardest things we did. That as people were enjoying the holiday for us, we were busy really trying to equip ourselves. And I will never forget the day we were told to go and get a house or accommodation for ourselves. And we moved the whole day. I think at least I know half of interior, because really we were tasked to go and look for a house, and at the end of the day we failed. But luckily enough, we were housed at the office. So we're really able to move on with life. So always in life, have that pushing factor. Have a friend you can be able to discuss with, and always have something that you can always be able to look up to. So we went and we wrote an email. I remember very well. We drafted an email that was including our CV and our testimonial, because at least we were able to. No, we didn't have a testimonial at that time. So we just drafted the CV, sent it to Mr. Aita Joel, who was the CEO, because we at least have been able to get that good relationship with him, because we invited him at our Mac dinner that was in and that's also one key point, that is you should always try to network. Networking is very key, and that is one of our notes. We wrote, and then from there we said, no, now let us, since they were having a site ongoing, that was the rehabilitation of the National Makerere Hospital. So we went there, me and Bruno, with our CV, with really no experience, but yeah, it was a CV to us because that's what we were going to present. So we went and talked to the project manager, and when he looked at us, he just smiled and he said, okay, gentlemen, you're welcome. You can be able to join us. And that's the way we joined in, and we are assigned to assist the clerk of works in the supervision of works, ensuring quality control. And during that time, I remember during that time, the other was supervising the National Referral Hospital and also the Women's Mulago Hospital, which was just completed by the Arab contractors. So during the shorter periods, we were transferred to the Mulago Hospital for the women, and that's how we really kick-started our hands-on. And I really remember those days when we were very small, young gentlemen. You could even call us boys, but at least we really showed that we really here to really be able to learn, because that's one thing that really showed the project manager. And when we met with Mr. Joel himself, he told us, we had a talk with him, and he told us, you know what, Ivan and Bruno, I would like you to be here, learn, and as you keep on learning, along the way, I'll be able to get for you something small to keep you going. But ensure that you learn, and tomorrow I do expect you to be big project managers, big guys who will be able to have an impact to this construction. So we kickstart our on job at the Women's Hospital Mulago. And really, I remember I can call ourselves, we were hawkers on site, because we used to move up and down. It was, I think, around, it was 9 floors. But we were always determined at least to move around, to be able to cross-check on what the masons are doing, what the carpenters are doing, trying to guide them here and there, where we feel we are not in line, and where we feel we don't know anything, we go back to our clerk of works, and he is able to guide us here and there. So we really showed that learning habit. And really, that's one thing we should appreciate as graduates who will be finishing and going back and going to the field. Always have that learning appetite, I could call it. And then 2, always be down on earth. Don't be proud. Just be yourself. Just interact with this layman. They always have that technical aspect, but they cannot be able to interpret it. But if you have to have interaction with them and they speak it, and you speak with them, you'll be able to harmonize it and integrate it, and be able to balance it with what you really be able to learn at campus. So we went on, I think we were there for 5 months. So that was from June to November. But during that period, I remember it was a time when we were really hustling for life, I could say. But luckily enough is that they were providing us with lunch and breakfast. That was sorted. But now the challenge we're having is the issue of transport, because Bruno was coming from Kisasi, I was coming from Gayaza. So the issue of transport became a big problem to us. But luckily enough, we were able to move along. People were supporting us here and there. Could even reach a point that after the long hustle and the walk, I could sit with me and be like, okay, do you have transport to go back home? It's like, oh, but I have 5K. So we could share. So like we could reach a time and we could try to help one another. We get to try to sacrifice one another and try to ensure that we go an extra mile. And I don't remember there's a time I used to walk for some distances to be able to balance my insufficient transport. So one of the things is about sacrifice. You really need to be willing to sacrifice, to be persistent, not giving up. Because I remember there's a time we reached, me and Bruno, and we're like, you know what? Ivan, I think this thing is not coming through. Because there's a time they promised us that the project was coming up, but it wasn't coming through. And really, life was so hard. It was really so hard on us because like trying to meet the transport expense was really becoming challenging for us. And even we're trying to wait on for
Mr. Ivan? Mr. Ivan? Mr. Ivan, are you there? I think.
Yes, hopefully I'm back now.
Okay, okay.
Continue pursuing what you feel you like to do. So along the way, I think I remember that day I'd remained at site. I was still doing some work on the computer. And Mr. Joel were having a discussion with one of his friends on site. So I wanted to print out something. So I went to the printer office, and even where the printer is, it's even where Joel's office is. So I go in, I print something. Then he says, "Hey, Ivan, how are you? You are still around?" I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to finish up something. So then he says, "When you come?" So he goes into his pocket and he gives me $400. And that was my first time to hold dollars. Really, to be sincere, really, it was really amazing. I told him, you know what, share the 200 with Bruno and the 200 is yours. Wow, that was a very big miracle for me. But so it came from what? Sacrifice, endurance, persistence. So I think after 2-3 weeks, we were able to get our first assignment. That was with the sub-consultancy firm as supervising engineers. And that was in November, the end of November. So me and Bruno were offered contracts to go work as supervising engineers. But it came from the point that they had appreciated the work we were doing. They had appreciated the zeal and the effort we were putting in. So always when you go somewhere, always show your relevance. Always put in your best, and it will always be reflected. And I went there with really, because the person who referred to us was Mr. Joel himself. And so we went there with that big reference, that from the big man. So we went there, they briefed us, and we had to kickstart work. Those were the Gavi staff housing for the healthy workers. And really, we were taken in the western parts, deep down in those villages, whereby we're working around the health center with. And they were very hard to reach remote areas. And that is also one thing that we really learned, that we were really able to benefit from that.
we had the experience to be able to work in the outskirts of Kampala. But it all started with the persistence, the never giving up, the culture we had that we were able to build on. So when we went in those hard to reach areas, obviously we were just trying to put in what we had been able to equip ourselves with. So we progressed then well for around 8 months. And I remember one of the mistakes, I couldn't say mistake, but I could see an oversight on my side whereby we're doing drainage and we're supposed to put a heavy gauge pipe that was of 110. And since I really didn't know about the heavy gauge, the light gauge, I remember we purchased whatever was on the market and we put it there. So when the monitoring team from government came in and we realized that the pipe we had put in was a lightweight, wow, that was a big blow. There's no way we could run away from it because we were the supervising engineers. And the contractor was saying, we were around, we put this pipe when the supervising engineer was here. So, but to cut the story short is that one thing I learned is when you make a mistake in life or in construction, the most important thing is not finger pointing. That's one thing I really learned from the big engineer from the contractor side. He said, Ivan, you are learning, you're a young man, but such things, there's no need of finger pointing. It's all about, there's a mistake, how do we get the solution? How do you come about it? And that is it. And that is construction. So always don't be afraid to make mistakes, or if the mistake is there, always agree to it and be able to find the solution, and that will be sorted. So we moved along, and I also remember a scenario whereby
Mr. Ivan, I'm sorry to interrupt. Mr. Ivan.
Yes, please.
People in the chat are suggesting that you share your video and they see you. They would like to see who is talking.
Oh,
thank you.
Okay, that's okay. Can you see me now?
Yes, that is okay now.
Okay. Yes, so as I was saying, along the way, as I was doing that project, there was a scenario whereby there was a time whereby there were some blocks which were rejected, but by the time I went there, I think it was in the Bundubujo. So I tested the blocks by just on-site testing, and the blocks were really now, they had really matured and had really gained the strength. But initially they were rejected because they had just been made. So when I did my analysis, I saw the blocks were really good to be used. And I had to take my stand as the CM or as a supervising engineer. And I remember the local authorities, they came around and they were like, but Mr. Engineer, these blocks were rejected. I told them, yes, but now I've tested them and they can perform. So I remember they called my coordinator and I talked to him and I said, yes, engineer, you rejected them. That was before because they were not well matured, but right now they are matured because I think they are taking a period of 1 month. The solid broke. So, and yes, he told me, okay, Ivan, could you perform for me a test and you make a recording for me, then you send me, which I did, and I sent, and I said, yes, Ivan, you are really right, and you can proceed. And that was a notch for me because when you have something and you know it is right, always stand by it and always share it and always be confident. And that was a key point for me. So always in life, when you know something is right and you are confident about it, present it with all your heart. Don't be intimidated, don't be shy about that. And then I was able to, after the 8 months, I was able to come back and continue with the National Referral Hospital for a few months. Then from there, I was allocated to Masaka Hospital as a clerk of work still, which I did work there for 2 years. And I was able to still improve on my knowledge, being able to learn more on health infrastructure, being able to add a brick onto the health infrastructure. And really that was a very big boost for me. So my stay in Masaka was really helpful. And even up to now, I'm still on that same project as a part-time supervisor because I really know the concept of the whole project. So Joanna requested me to continue and giving them my services as a part-time supervisor there, which I will accept because Joanna to me is a family to me. So all I can say is always put in your best. Be determined, and everything will always be at loggerheads. So and then from there, 2019 in October, I remember there was an advert which was posted by Muhinda Abraham. I applied for it as the quality engineer. As I think before I got to that, there was an opportunity with Tana. I went there, I applied, they called me for interviews, I did interviews. Yeah, then I remember one last interview that I was supposed to meet with the ED, but I wasn't able, so I met with the other team. And they asked me questions and I reached someone, I got stuck. And I was really, really very frustrated in life. I was like, what is this happening to me? And I really felt I'd let myself down. But one thing I later realized that when you fall, it's always better to gather yourself up and you rise again. And that's one thing I really tried because I spent like a whole week really blaming myself. And I think after that 1 week and 2 weeks, because I'd also applied with Sogea for the quality engineer opportunity, I was called. So I said, okay, let me go and give this one a try. So I was still in Masaka. So I organized myself. I come to Kampala. I read about quality engineering, what is the duties of the quality engineering, what is the quality assurance, what is the quality control. And one key aspect I should always advise CMs is that when you are going for an interview, always try to prepare, always try to read. Always try to look at the position. What are the requirements? What are the responsibilities or duties of that position that you're applying for? It really gives you a bigger view and it gives you that confidence. So I go in, I go for the interview. It was a Monday. Surprisingly, I met that 3 managers. No, there were 2 managers. That was Nyakana and Chris. So I'm like, hey, you guys, the world is small. We are all here for the interview. So 3 managers going for an interview, the same slot. So I remember I was the last. So I go in, and my biggest surprise is I find Muhindo Abraham as the panelist. Wow. And I remember Muhindo Abraham as the pioneers of Mac. And I used to interact with him once in a while because I was really engaged so much in the leadership. And really by the issues of leadership, really, as managers, if there's always a slot for leadership, go for it. Don't always shy away from it. So I reached there. That was some confidence for me because now I'm facing a panelist whom at least the face is not familiar. So I reached there, they asked me, and luckily enough, whatever they were asking is what I'd read. What's the work of a quality engineer, the quality assurance plan, the quality control? And really, things were flowing. And luckily enough, at the end of it all, I was successful. But it all came from preparedness, being involved in leadership skills, showing that determination, being resilient, being persistent. And you see, you keep on upgrading yourself from one step to another. So I joined Sogea, whereby they're doing hydraulic engineering. That's water engineering. So I reached there. It's a very mega project, by the way. And for information, Muhinda Abraham was my boss was the quality manager there, and he is still the quality manager. And I was reporting to him. And really, that was a very big boost for me because that was just a plus for me. And then when I reached there, I found out that there's also another manager who's a quality engineer. He's called Chamba Kenneth. I find him there. Then along the way, I also found out that there's also a lady called Gillian. She's also a quality engineer. So I'm like, wow, this is it. So I worked with the team at Sogea. That was the Katosi water treatment plant, which was just completed. It was really a mega project. I really do appreciate the time of me being there because it was a massive project which was having earthworks, civil works, mechanical, electrical. So it really boosted my confidence. It really boosted my my professional growth. And really, truth be told, I was able to see mechanization. I was able to appreciate safety. I was able to appreciate quality. Really, that's where I really appreciate the quality management bit of it, the quality engineering, and the structure, the organizational structure, the approval aspect of it, the testing. Yes, please.
Hello?
So I was able to appreciate. I was really able to appreciate it. Come again? Okay. So I was able to appreciate my being there at Sogea. And I remember the time I was leaving, and that was in December. Chamba Kenneth, a CM who had knowledge in surveying, was made a surveying manager. Why? Because I think during that time of COVID time, whereby we really had that uncertainty, most of the experts, all the expatriates had to leave.
Hello?
Because they were French, some were from Nigeria, so some from Morocco. So most of them had to leave the country. So it's happened that along the way, our manager was made the surveyor manager. So now right now he's doubling as the surveyor manager, but he was working as the quality engineer. But one thing that made him a surveyor is because he had the knowledge of surveying and he had done surveying before. What am I trying to mean is that whatever opportunity that you see and you feel you love it, you feel you're in love with it, do it. QS work, safety, do it, go for it, pursue it, because you never know tomorrow that will be, or in the nearby future, it's going to be a big boost for you. So,
excuse me.
Yes, please.
I mean, people are inboxing here that Kafi is going to get them. I don't know if you could summarize.
Yeah. I'm trying to summarize, because I'm not going to. I'm trying to summarize.
It's okay. It's
okay.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm giving a clear picture of you that as managers in this construction industry, they come in the construction industry as a trained soldier. Because when a soldier is going into a battlefield, he doesn't know what he's expecting, but what gives him the confidence and the courage is the training he has been able to be equipped with. And that is, as a construction manager, that when you leave campus and you're going to the construction field, look at the construction field as a battlefield. You get it? So ensure that whatever skills and knowledge you're able to acquire, always ensure that you put a good use to it, because that will enable you to survive in life. So let me now just look at, let me just, I will not be able to repeat, but just the expectation in the field. As the previous speaker said, the competition, which will be healthier than healthy. As I to welcome you.
How much is shipping on the
to minimize you, but always be focused and know what you have really come to do. And then it's example, they don't know the duties or what the CM can do, but you go out there and dig and tell them, I can be able to.
Someone is calling me. Allow me to speak.
And then I think I'll not be able to repeat most of the things because they've been already highlighted by Hassan. But all in all, what I can be able to summarize is, as a CM, there are some key principles or aspects you need to work on as a CM. One of them is you have to look at branding yourself. Branding yourself means, how are you going to sell yourself out there into the construction industry? Because you are a product. So for someone to be willing to buy your product or to take you in as a product, you need to show him that you can be able to deliver. And that is very, very key. Like being able to have skills like in AutoCAD, like in MS Project, that will give you a big hands up. Having the passion and the zeal. Where do you want to see yourself? Being persistent, as I've said, having that leadership aspect. Being flexible, not being proud enough. Then also working smart and hard. Those are really key aspects you need to look at. You have to work smart and hard, balance those two, and be able to move forward. And my two last key points is preparedness plus opportunity is luck. Luck does not just come all of a sudden. Luck comes to people who are prepared and be able to move along. So there's no saying that luck is just there. No. Luck is equals to how prepared are you. When you are prepared, an opportunity will come and be able to grab it. That's now the luck we talk of. And then lastly is your network is your net worth. Because currently I am working as an inspector for civil works under Roton at Kampala Industrial Business Park in Nama. Because of the network, because the gentleman who connected me here was the project manager under Joada on the Mulago Women's Project, which I did in 2016 as I was a graduate trainee there. And he saw my love, he saw the zeal I had. And if such a gentleman can be able to remember you, and he said, okay, this is a gentleman who really did some good work and was really, and he was able to give me a call all of a sudden. And here I am. Why? Because I showed that I could deliver. And that's the reason why I am here. So all in all, I could say as managers is, don't lose the hope. Just have the faith. Work on yourself, and opportunities will always come along the way. And you'll not be disappointed, because on all the projects I've been able to work with, I've been able to meet up with managers, because even currently right now, I'm with my fellow manager, Anya Alan, as a junior PA. But why? Because this world is so small. I've been able to meet Ethel. I've been able to meet Alan, Hassan, Abraham, Agnes. It's just a diverse industry. So as managers, I call on to you guys is, don't lose hope. Just follow your heart, follow your passion, because there's some managers I can say is that they're not really doing construction, but they're in other fields, but it's all because construction. Some are auditors, some are fashion designers, you get it? But some are safety officers, but it's all from construction management. As Hassan said it, means of portfolio, it engulfs everything. So that's all the information you have been able to get, and the information you'll be getting along the way. Take it important, take it serious, because it is what you are practicing in the construction field. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Amparo Catherine, Deputy Speaker Mark. I would want to take this opportunity to thank all the previous speakers. We have learned a lot from you, and we hope to continue interacting with you. Supplement on what the previous speaker said, Mr. Chibondo Ivan, when he talked about luck, we shouldn't take it that we are lucky or we get things by luck, but luck is a dividend of sweat. So if you sweat, you will get lucky. the more you sweat, the luckier you get. Let me take this opportunity to invite the next speaker, Ms. Avarinda Jerusa. We are very excited to hear from you. As a lady, I'm more excited. I can't wait to hear what you have to say, because a woman in the construction industry is something so intriguing for me. So we want to find out how you do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, everyone who has stayed this far. I see we are time barred, so I'm going to be really quick. I already introduced myself. I am Jerusha Avarinda. I'm just going to share the video because someone requested that they need to see the people speaking. And I hope you can all hear me. When I was contacted by your president, he mentioned that everyone was demoralized after the restructuring and the fact that construction management was scraped off as an undergraduate course. And he asked me a question. He said, we want to know, is this course really useless? I just want to inform you that no, it is not useless. If anything, it is a blessing in disguise because it limits competition out there in the field. Not everyone is going to have the opportunity to major in construction management at postgraduate level, that is master's. So if you can harness the knowledge that you have now as a construction manager, I can assure you that not even the sky is the limit. The two speakers have really done a great job. I don't think I have much to add on what to expect as a construction manager out there in the field. I'm just going to say that expect the real life to begin. You have probably been relying very much on your teachers, on your parents, but now expect to face life head on and to be prepared for it. It is not easy, but I can also say it is not something to be frightened about. You will make it. People have gone before you, they have made it. Like Hassan mentioned, it's a course that started in 2004. So if managers have made it in the field since then, I do not think it's going to be any different from you. I need you to rest assured that you can make it. So how do you prepare for life after school? First, I want to mention that people will keep asking you about construction management and comparing you to civil engineers and asking you what you can do that a civil engineer cannot do. Do not get tired of responding. I hope you know your role as a construction manager. Hassan has mentioned so many things that you can do as a CM. Do not get tired of explaining that. Even when you're looking for work, you will see that most adverts come with titles of maybe civil engineer, field project engineer, supervising engineer, engineer this, engineer that. And then you're a construction manager and you're wondering, what do I do? You need confidence. You need to be confident in the skills you have acquired. You need to be confident in the knowledge you have harnessed and apply for those jobs without fear, without favor. Apply for the job and show them what you can do. It is not about the title. I want to emphasize this. I don't know how much I can emphasize it. It is not about the title. It is about what you can bring to the table. A brief about myself. Like I mentioned, I am the current site engineer with Rocco Construction at the rehabilitation and upgrading of Monago Hospital. I did not start as a site engineer. As a matter of fact, when I joined Rocco, they didn't know what to call me. They asked for my qualifications. I gave them my construction management certificate. They asked me what I could do. I explained what I could do, but they said, we do not hire construction managers. But then I was confident in the work and I was really good at MS Project. And that is what I think got my project manager impressed. The person I was talking to for the job, he was really impressed with my project, with my MS project skills. And he said, I am going to take you on as my assistant, but I am not going to give you an appointment letter because I don't know what to call you. Now me, I just wanted to get my foot in. So I got in with no title, with no appointment letter, but with someone to report to and assignments to do, which I did for a full year. I was basically doing programming. That was not at Munago. I was best at Munago, but I did programming for another project. Disrupting my presentation. I request you to mute your microphones. Like Ivan shared, all the opportunities he got after school were because he knew someone. He had a friend, he had worked with someone recommended him for his next job. So make connections, be a team player. No one will want to work with someone who cannot cooperate and coordinate with other people. So I will just emphasize that you need to build your soft skills. Do you make reasonable decisions? Can someone leave you on a project and trust that you're going to take care of it and have no complaints whatsoever, that you will run a schedule, have materials on time, coordinate workers? How well will you do that? I will request you to build such skills, and the sky will not be the limit anymore. Have industry knowledge. There is so much to learn about construction as an industry. There are so many professions in the industry. A construction manager, I look at a construction manager as the glue that binds all stakeholders. You have architects, you have planners, you have civil structure engineers. You as a construction manager are the glue that binds all those players. Because once you have the designs, you have the structural designs, you have the plans, you're implementing, you're coordinating all these stakeholders to deliver a project. So how when you relate with people matters. You need to have an aspect of financial management. I already mentioned how are you going to save project costs and deliver a project worth millions of dollars and be trusted to do that. You need to know how to manage finances. You need to have negotiation skills. This will come in both for you as you negotiate your salary, because you're going to face people who think they know more than you because they have a civil engineering degree, which you don't have. Know how to negotiate with your construction management degree because they do not have that as well. You have something they don't have. So know how to negotiate. How do you negotiate with stakeholders? You need to have that skill. You need to be open to feedback. Like Hassan mentioned, he made so many mistakes as he started out. You need to be open to feedback so that you're corrected. Because if you're not, you'll make your mistakes, you'll never be corrected, and you will not grow. So be open to feedback and develop a thick skin. This is especially for the ladies, because this industry, everyone thinks it's for men, and you need to claim your place at the table. Dear lady, you have to develop a thick skin. People will try to intimidate you. There are bullies. I have met bullies who think because I am a woman, they can step on me, they can tell me what to do, they can confuse me. And you know, if someone has a position they are taking, they will want to confuse you and sway you to their side. But if you know what you're doing, if you know what a project is about, and you know you have the end in mind, take stand your ground, know what you want, develop a thick skin, do not allow to be bullied, and you will be successful in all you do. Be humble and be willing to learn, because you're going to finish and graduate, but the truth is your life has just begun. What you learned in school is just a starting point. You're going to need to learn more in the field. Be teachable, be humble, be willing to learn. I think I have been brief. I just wanted to emphasize the soft skills because Ivan and Hassan really did a good job with the technical skills. And also learn the things that you think are outside your scope. Ivan mentioned design, ArchiCAD, AutoCAD. Actually, that is one regret I have, that I did not take my design classes seriously. If you can, if you have time, please do that. Learn that so that when you go out in the field and someone tells you, what can you do? Tell them, look, I can design, I can interpret drawings, I can do this. You know, the earlier you learn that, the better. I thank you for listening to me. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Jerusha. That is so impressive. That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with us. What I've learned from you is there are so many things you've said, and I've learned so many things, but what I've also learned is patience, that you need to be patient. Yeah, that is the truth. And most times people tell us that when you graduate, you might not actually get a paying job immediately. You need to volunteer. So if someone tells you, if you get a job somewhere and they ask me to volunteer, please feel free. Don't neglect those opportunities. So, Madam Jerusha, thank you so much for sharing with us. Also about the soft skills. Yes. About one thing I can tell you is that as construction manager, the way we study our course, we are taught the soft skills indirectly. You be in class presenting to the class. That is one way of building someone's confidence. When you go to these civil engineers, they don't study in that way. For them, they just go and do reports, but they don't go into those things of presentation. So those are soft skills that we gain. So, Madam Jerusha, thank you so much for sharing with us. It has been so beneficial. So since we are running out of time, we are going to accept three questions from the audience. One question is going to be from year threes, another question from year twos, and the last question from year ones. So quickly, let us begin with the year threes. Jingo Solomon, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yes, you may please ask the questions that you have for the year threes. Thank you.
So I would like to take this opportunity to thank all presenters and stakeholders that I sacrificed their time, come and talk first insights about being a construction manager out there, and I've been following closely. My question would go to the first speaker, and I would like to ask if in any way construction management, because I've been hearing them talking about hydrology, surveying somewhere coming in, and civil, a lot of these different engineering disciplines. So I'm wondering, does construction management also cut across straight to mechanical engineering, or it's only in these other fields people have been talking about? And then the other thing would be, I think that is the question I have. The rest have been clarified. I did a few questions before, but it seems most of them have been answered. That's the only question I had. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is the first question. I hope our speakers are noting down that was going to answer. So we're going to have a question from year twos that is going to be presented by Sylvia. Sylvia, are you there?
Yes, I'm on.
Yeah, you may ask the question.
Yeah, good.
Sylvia? Sylvia, is the network okay?
In case she's not clear, she can still text the question in the chat room.
Yes, Sylvia, you can text the question in the chat. Let me go to the year ones. Mark Babiha,
To you
are
all,
you there?
I would like to thank.
Yes, I'm there.
Sylvia's network is bad. Mark Babiha, may you please ask the question for the year ones?
All right. Good evening to you, our guest speakers. I'd like to thank you for the message of person today. I'd like to first start by thanking you for actually sacrificing your time and being here. Mr. Igasan has a birthday to attend, so I think we should wrap it up. Though I've learned some things from all of you. From the first speaker, I think we've learned that we should make as many mistakes as possible, learn from them. From the second speaker, I'd like to acknowledge the hard work we put in as we move forward in our careers is key, because we shall always face a lot of challenges and we just have to stand with what we believe. And a question I'd like to ask across to any who's willing to answer. Do you think the certification of a bachelor's degree in construction management alone is enough to be recognized in the construction sector today? Because as I see, Mr. Igasan has honors in project management, PMI and all. Mr. Jidu Ivan is a supervising engineer and health infrastructure and everything. And our third speaker, Ms. Abarinda Jerusha, is a site engineer. So I'm basing on what you think. Do you think a certificate in construction management alone would be enough for us to boost off our career in construction? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that is a question from the year ones. Sylvia has not been able to type the question. Can you get any year two ask a question? We need to get representatives from all the ends. Can I get a year two? Let me see. You can raise up the hands. Any year two can ask a question.
Well, good evening, everyone. This is Bazibwe Karos, year two, but I think Sylvie is back. She can continue.
Is she back? Sylvie?
She just typed her question.
Can you read it out for us?
I think the gentleman can also say it.
Yeah, do we have construction management firms in Uganda? And if so, what are they? That's her question.
Okay. Are you here too? You can ask a question if you are also, you can add on that if you're here too.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
I'm so sorry, I have network issues, but my question was that, do we have any construction management firms in Uganda? And if they are there, what are they? Yeah, thank you. Most of the questions have been answered by the two speakers.
Okay, thank you. So may our speakers been on answering the questions. Let us begin with the first question was Mr. Hassan. Hassan, Mr. Hassan, are you there?
Yeah. Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, you. Okay.
First, I will thank the previous speakers and everyone who is following. They have really been thorough. Like I indicated, it has been quite an easy day, but it has been an honor to really get to you guys, and we share a few pointers on how we can move as CMs. Not to waste any time, I'll go into the first question, which does CM cut across even to mechanical engineering? We've asked this question. If you look at the slides, you realize that I stated a couple of areas where CM can really be very interesting. But just to give you some confidence about mechanical engineering, I work for a passive infrastructure company, one of the largest independent owners of towers in the world, with over 70% coverage in the US and Latin America. And we are in Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Kenya. And we are trying to get to Tanzania and Ethiopia and Cairo, Egypt. In Africa, we are in Europe, and we are also in India, in Asia. When I talk about towers, you understand it's more of the masts. There is a lot of mechanical and electrical work. We deal in generators. We have a lot of steel. We deal with a lot of steel in these works. There is a lot of mechanical works, you know. The power systems have a lot of mechanical installations. I've seen a couple of guys, when you talk about Sogea. They are dealing with a lot of mechanical works. When you talk about guys in the building, there is a lot of mechanical and electrical works. When you talk about transmission, for example, Timothy, one of our former presidents, there is a lot of mechanical and electrical. There is a lot of opportunities. If you go to manufacturing, I know guys who work for roofings, I know guys who work for all these sorts of companies. CM, you can be a salesperson for these manufacturers in mechanical supplies, Victoria Engineering. We have a lot of ground in mechanical engineering. And like I mentioned in my presentation, we are ministers without portfolio. Because when you look at all we study, financial management, appraisal, accounting, law, then technical courses, investment design appraisal, you will find yourself, like Jerusha said, you put your mind somewhere, you're willing to learn, and you're lucky, and you're hardworking, like the dude said, you're going to find yourself in a position where you can actually do anything. You can actually practice in anything. We are going into oil and gas. There is a lot of mechanical engineering in oil and gas. If you meet me one day, and probably I take you around, there is a CM here, I think it's called Waswa. Abib recommended him for a few introduction into what I do. And I moved with him across Uganda in just 1 week. You can imagine, you cover the entire country in 1 week, and he's seeing foundations being casted with a lot of steel. He's seeing me checking even the grade of steel. You see discussions on group when guys are talking about that manufacturer is not right, this manufacturer is not right. So you will really enjoy a lot of every bit of every career. That's why CM is a very competitive course, and like Jerusha indicated, the opportunity you guys you have now, your competition has been reduced because CM started in 2024, and now they have eliminated on undergraduate. So they are not going to be more Ugandans studying from Uganda doing CM. Then every opportunity will be consumed by you who are here, unless someone studies it from abroad or has a background of civil and then can take on CM as a postgraduate or a specialization course, which is also a very good area of interest. The second question, maybe if I can talk a bit as other speakers can also add, is CM enough for you to be competitive? For this, the answer is obvious. Even in civil, even architect, even in law, even in medicine, which is 5 years, may not be enough for you to break through. However, all of these courses can be enough for you as far as your focus is up for something, and then you are ready to take on the challenge. You really need to be ready to take on the mantle, like you indicated the challenges we have. But what you have to know as a CM is that you have studied a management, a high-level course at a very startup degree. I have a lot of qualifications, like you said, and I've studied and I've practiced. I've been a porter on site. I've been everything. Maybe that sets my competitiveness. You may not have to go through that. My kids may not have to go through that, because why? Maybe I'm going to mentor them in a different way. But the issue could be that any skills, you saw Jerusha, she's riding on the fact that she understood MS project. I started earning my first money. I used to stay in Ruzira, by the way, when I was studying at Makerere, and I could pay rent for my house. Why? Because I learned AutoCAD from tech, and I used AutoCAD to start designing people's homes as a draftsman. It's a skill which created revenue for me to sustain a life. So does CM only enough? Yes, if you know what you're doing and you will master the skills in CM. No, if you need other skills to actually sell you, because like Jerusha indicated, no one is going to hire you as a CM. It's a big position. I've worked with CM from the US. They are hired as expatriates. Otherwise, I've also worked in where I work, and the head of projects had only a higher diploma. So can you only enough for you to be a head of projects? Yes, if you have the relevant information and the relevant skills and the relevant networks and the relevant connections. So when you get an opportunity to learn, there is a lot of information you can learn. But get the skills. I would encourage each of you to be more competitive, to challenge the civil engineers, to challenge the architects and everyone. Add the more soft skills, add the more technical skills like health and safety, civil engineering certificates, electricals, anything, procurement, anything you feel your heart can go. I'll end it at that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hassan. Thank you. I think we have all had. We need to have the skills. Let me ask. The next question was going to anyone, any of the speakers, answer. So can anyone take up the next questions? Okay, I can specify. Okay.
Yes, yes, Pereza.
Yes, you can answer the next questions.
Jerusha is going to do the one for, she's going to add on the issue of the certificate for CM. Me, I'll go to the construction management firms.
Okay.
Yes, in regards to that, there's no specific construction management firms, but we have project management firms or consultants that are doing or that have specialized in project management. And one of them is Turner and Townsend, which are the leading project managers in East Africa. And at least we have managers who are part of that team. One of them is Anua Alan. We have Gava Rubowa, we have Ross, we have Bruno. So they really can be able to have testimonies about project management. And then with other firms, that is in regards to project management or construction management, are the consultants, whereby consultants now, most of them, they do project management and design. So that's where you can always apply and be able to pursue the project management bit of it. But that does not also, it's not limited to only the consultants, because even the contractors or the contract companies, the constructors, they always have the project management team or department. So if you want to keep yourself with the construction management or the project management skills, all the sectors are viable, regardless of the contractor, regardless of the consultant, regardless of the specialist in project management, because all those sectors have the project management department or aspect in it, and you can always learn from all the sectors across. So I think that is all I can give you. But if you'd like maybe a list of companies that maybe you would like to know that are currently doing works in Uganda, you can either try Google, or you can be able to, at least I can be able to arrange and I can be able to organize a list so that you can be able to look at it and be able to Google about it and be able to know more about those companies and what they do. And do they accommodate the construction management, or do they accommodate CMs whereby they can be able to develop their skills? So as managers, all the sectors are viable and there's slots for construction or project management. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jidudu, for answering our question. And lastly, let's go to Ms. Jerusha. Madam Jerusha, may you answer the last question before we end the meeting? Thank you.
Okay, the last question was about certification in CM, whether it is enough to be recognized. I have a feeling that a person who asked that question looked at our titles and did not understand that we studied CM. I just want to reassure you that we studied construction management, despite my title of site engineer or Ivan's title of inspector civil works or Hassan's title of field supervisor. Our best degrees were construction management. I also didn't think I would want to mention, but I'll just say it now, that I went ahead and studied a master's degree in construction management, still from Makerere University. So I hope this answers Fortunate's question about whether CM is still relevant because now it has been scraped off. It is relevant. Certification is enough to be recognized because, like we have mentioned, this transcript or certificate is going to open doors for you in all these opportunities that we have mentioned. Hassan gave a list of sectors you can work in: hospitality, road construction, health, infrastructure. There are so many, and what got us in is our construction management qualification. So yes, it is very much relevant. It is recognized. Do not worry about the fact that CM is no longer offered at undergraduate. Take advantage of that to know that the market is not going to be saturated. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Jerusha. We are really glad that for being exposed. I believe all of us have been changed in one way or another. I believe it is time that we started adding value to ourselves. Since you've told us that you need to have the relevant certification, the skills. So yeah, thank you so much for having shared this. I would also like at this point to thank each and everyone who has attended. I'm seeing people like Derek, I'm seeing people like Etho, people like Clinton, people who actually finished CM, but they have come to join us in this discussion. Time is on which has limited us, but we shall surely have time for you to say something. I'm seeing Mansu is here helping us. I'm seeing Asima Message. All of you, thank you so much, and everyone has attended. So lastly, in just a few minutes, we are going to have our Deputy Speaker, Mark. She's going to give a vote of thanks.
Okay, good evening once again. I would want to start with thanking everyone who has attended this meeting. I'm so glad and we are honored that you honored our meeting, our invitations, and you made it. Thanking the speakers who have spoken, Ms. Avarinda Jerusha, Mr. Chigund Ivan, and the first speaker, Mr. Iga Hassan. We are very glad and we are grateful. And whatever you have told us, I believe you have taken it in. We have noted down the key points that we need to focus on and need to think about when we're getting into the field. I'll have to first give a brief of what maybe I noted down, what I would want us, the students of construction management, to rethink about and put in consideration. One of the speakers talked about teamwork. So I urge everyone that once we are in the field, even when we're still at school, we should work together as a team, because as Mr. Hassan said, there is spiritual jealousy out there. So we should work together, like bring ourselves together. The way a hen covers its young ones in its wings, let's also cover each other so that we can overcome such problems, we can overcome the bullies. And I think as a CM, the first speaker talked about being a minister of portfolio, who needs to put things together. So CM students, I believe we have had this and we should put it to consideration. Let's look at everything. If we are to study, let's study all those skills. Let's learn AutoCAD, let's learn MS, let's learn those skills that those people of other courses think they have better than us, so that we can be able to beat them at their own game. Like, we should have the skills, because once you have the skills with just a degree from Makerere, but you know MS, you are a local engineer. With the skills, you can do anything and you are unstoppable. Then the confidence in knowledge that you have acquired. Be confident with what you have learned. Most of us have already had lost courage, had lost the morale to go on with our course, as they had scrapped it off. People are beginning to call it useless. But be confident in what you have learned, because the moment you are confident, you're able to move mountains. With confidence, I believe you can beat anyone in this field. With that, I want to thank everyone. Thank you, people, for coming. We are grateful. We have learned a lot. And I hope we shall have another meeting like this. We shall keep interacting with it.
Okay, Thank you so much. That was our Deputy Speaker. So we finally come to the end of the meeting. I really would like to thank everyone who has attended. What's for Vincent, I'm seeing you there. Thank you for attending, each and everyone, Jidudu, Mr. Hassan, Jerusha. But the last thing I can say is we surely need to provide something. When one thing I realized is don't be scared by a civil engineer, a civil guy, someone who has graduated with civil engineering. That shouldn't scare you. When you graduate and get out there in the field, someone who is willing to learn, it doesn't matter the course you did, but as long as you go there in the field and you're willing to learn, definitely people are going to see something good in you in a CM better than the civil person. So let us be willing to learn and learn the skills. They always talked about AutoCAD, ArchCAD, Revit, let's learn all the things so that we can be ready. As we still have a chance, we are still in the university. Let's use this chance, learn all the things. You've heard Joshua saying that she regrets why she didn't learn some of those programs. So since we still have a chance, let us use that chance and learn those things. There's also a safety training program at SEDET. You can hit me up if you want to get a certificate, so that when you graduate, you can add that one to your CV. Otherwise, we hope to keep on having these meetings. The next meeting, it shall be better. This was the first one, but it was there, it was a success. The next one shall even be more of a success. And we surely are thankful for all the people who have dedicated their time. So I would like to thank my executive who have worked tirelessly to ensure that this happens. I would like to thank the speakers. I would like to thank everyone who has attended. You people from all the way from year 1 to year 3, for everyone, I'm really grateful. Otherwise, thank you so much for attending this symposium. Have a beautiful night.
Thanks and keep safe.
Thank you. Thank you for attending.
Have a blessed good night, everyone. And thank you for
Now we
attending.
can.
Welcome, Daddy.